Welcome to the Astrological Weather Report for the August lunar month from July 28th to August 26th. My name is Daniel Fiverson. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. As we reach the midpoint of summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the south, we find personal expression as we move through the sign of Leo. However, Aquarian energies, Leo's polarity, will dominate the month. The lunar month began on July 28th, 2022, with a Leo new moon. Leo is said to be ruled by the sun. The sun is our neighborhood star. It is the source of the vital life force that supports and sustains our planetary home. Those born under this sign are brave and bold. Saturated with an abundance of solar energy, they are exuberant about life, sometimes too exuberant, and I can say that I have 3 planets in Leo. We can feel their enthusiasm like the intense heat of late summer. In the second sign of the fire element, the process of self-actualization that began instinctively at birth in Aries becomes self-awareness. Personality is projected outward with yang-infused passion. In Leo, we realize the joys of life and want to share them with the world. New moons are beginnings, fresh starts. This new monthly chapter infuses profound emotional experiences as the luminaries join Ceres. To the Greeks, Ceres was Demeter, the mother of Persephone, abducted and sexually abused by Hades. Her story is one of grief and personal loss. Her physical beauty was renowned. It is expressed as the profusion and abundance of the fields and the natural world for which she was responsible. The moon in our personal lives speaks to the distribution and flow of life force, to our health and the well-being of our bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. It desires the comfort of family and all that is safe and familiar. As this year began, healthcare-oriented asteroid Hygeia opposed Saturn in the sky. Hygeia at the time was in the sign of Scorpio, Pluto's realm of evolutionary challenges. Saturn was in Aquarius, Uranus' sign of revolutionary interruptions and disruptions. We realize that an intelligent virus is now the new normalcy. Back in February, the energy amped up as Saturn moved into a crisis mode with the lunar nodes, where it is at this lunation and will remain until the end of October. It is the major astrological event of this year. This is a crisis bouncing back and forth between resolving the past and creating the future and accomplishing neither. These celestial energies intensify as a fixed grand cross emerges at the Leo new moon, as Mars and Uranus join the Taurus lunar north node, squaring Mercury in Leo opposite Saturn, currently in a retrograde condition. A fixed cross is a tense formation, compelling the need to change but unable to move gracefully through the changes. Crises occur that forcibly unblock the energy. Mars and Uranus are a volatile combination, eliciting sudden chaotic events that compel different personal choices. Words can be spoken in anger, and random violence can occur without warning. Venus in Cancer brings in the commitment to priorities that ensure security, provide nurturing, and fulfill personal and family responsibilities. The long-standing crisis between Pluto and Eris has been triggered since the end of June by dwarf planet Ceres. Ceres correlates to something very dear that has been lost, as well as to abduction and sexual abuse. In its wake, Ceres generates lessons about nourishment for body, mind, spirit, and the greening of the earth itself. Elemental compatibility between Venus in Cancer, asteroids Juno, and Roman goddess of justice Astraea and the Scorpio lunar north node bring commitments for nurturing ecological and ethical values and priorities to the surface and provides opportunities for personal and collective growth and social justice. At the Leo new moon, Jupiter stationed retrograde in the early degrees of Aries. There is an elemental affinity between Jupiter and Aries. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, the third sign of the fire triad. Aries is the first of the fire triad, its initiation point. The fire element correlates to the self-actualization process. Aries is the birth point. It is an instinctive and non-cognitive expression of I am. In Leo, the second of the fire signs, we self-actualize as our personality, our declaration of our creation of self. In Sagittarius, the self-actualization process is absorbed into the collective as our personal beliefs merge with societal views. Our personal growth process is reviewed as Jupiter moves through its annual retrograde cycle. We can examine where we have been and where we are going in our personal development. The 12-year cycle of Jupiter corresponds to the chapters of our lives. A retrospect of what happened 12 years ago in your life will illuminate a similar process. The details will be different, but the process will be the same. On July 31st, Uranus will perfect to a conjunction with the lunar north node. This astrological event happens roughly every 15 years, but has not occurred in the sign of Taurus since 1855. In concert with Pluto, Uranus is the force majeure that compels our evolutionary journey forward. It might be said that Pluto pulls the rug out from under us, and Uranus knocks us upside down and sideways. Uranus is said to rule the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the polarity of Leo. In Leo, we become aware of our self-realization process. In Leo, we express our personality, who we are. Aquarius' self-realization process directs us to whom we are becoming. Under the influence of Taurus, ruled by Venus, the unfolding of personality through immersion in the community embodies our essential needs and the vitality of our relationship with ourselves. Who we are and whom we are becoming is formatted by our self-narratives and the values and priorities that we live by. There are correlations to the mid-18th century when this celestial event last occurred. Excuse me. In those days, a process of quote, cellular division was happening as the North and South adopted intractable political positions centered on the practice of slavery. Slavery is embedded in American culture. It was essential to the Southern colonies' economic development for cotton agriculture, which required intense manual labor. The invention of the cotton gin simply amplified the cotton industry and increased the need for slave labor. Interestingly, when the cotton gin was invented in 1793, Uranus transited retrograde and joined the lunar north node 3 times. It is also significant to note that Uranus and the lunar north node were in Taurus in the years leading up to the American Civil War and the years during which fascism emerged in Europe and the outbreak of World War II. Most recently, Uranus entered Taurus during the presidency of Donald Trump and the outbreak of COVID. Uranus is the key player as the ruler of Aquarius full moon on August 11th, 2022. Mars' proximity to Uranus suggests potential incitements, conflagrations, explosions, and egotistic expression of personal values and priorities leading into personal implosions as the Saturn square to the lunar nodes continues. The moon conjoined Saturn, adding to the ongoing litany of gravitational forces. Mercury, the messenger god, carries on a difficult conversation with Saturn and Uranus through the month about whatever ideas and opinions might be held regarding how the past is remembered and how the future is being projected. Mercury will relish in his inner world as he enters Virgo on August 4th. Discussions can become lighter. A month-long meeting with Pallas Athena opens the way for new impressions and ideas to be considered. Neptune floods our cognitive awareness with insights and broader vision. Pluto will empower our words. By the end of August, Mercury will slip into Libra, smoothing out the way for peaceful resolutions. Relationship goddess Venus is feeling some pain as the month begins. On August 11th, in the hours before the full moon, Venus enters Leo. The need for safety is replaced with impulsiveness and patterns of self-repeated, self-sanctioned, self-empowering behavior that will continue to generate personal crises by the end of the month. Mars continues to plow his way through Taurus most of the month. As I stated, his meetup with Uranus and the lunar north node early in the month is seeded with potential for emotional fireworks. Some containment is possible, but only when a responsibility is accepted. The pot still simmers or even boils over mid-August as Pluto intensifies any ongoing situations. On August 20th, Mars will enter Gemini, awaking curiosity and more forethought about our personal and collective futures, which are so intricately interwoven. History does not repeat, but it often rhymes. It has become redundant to say that we are moving through turbulent evolutionary changes. Out-of-range solar flares and record-breaking surges in the Schumann resonance are scientific evidence of dramatic changes in the Earth. We are navigating our own lives through this energetic maelstrom as well. We're all being awakened to a new multidimensional reality. These evolutionary transformations of the planet are the winds of change of the Aquarian age. We all need to find a safe harbor through this storm. If you feel you are being tossed adrift, reconnect with what is essential. Go inside and find your center. Sit quietly and gaze upward at the back of your forehead, where your third eye resides. This is the gateway to your soul. Your soul knows the way home. Thank you for tuning in. Namaste. Be curious, be truthful, be kind.